Iran may have survived the war, but the bigger battle for Tehran may have just begun. After weeks of conflict, the Islamic Republic has managed to hold its ground despite losing top leadership figures and facing intense pressure from the US and Israel. But now comes the real test. Can Iran's leadership rebuild trust with its own people? A population angry over economic collapse, repression, and years of hardship. The war was expected by some to weaken Iran's ruling establishment. But instead, analysts say it created an unexpected moment of unity. The attacks on Iran triggered a wave of nationalism, bringing together even those who had opposed the government. Many Iranians believed the country stood up to foreign pressure and emerged stronger. A professor at the University of Tehran said the strikes by Washington and Tel Aviv united Iranians in a way domestic politics never could. For many citizens, the priority shifted from political differences to protecting the country from external threats. But beneath that unity lies a deeper crisis. Before the war, Iran was already facing massive economic pressure. Years of sanctions, mismanagement, and falling living standards had fueled protests earlier in the year. Thousands were killed in the crackdown that followed, deepening public anger against the authorities. The war worsened the economic situation. Iranian authorities estimate nearly 2 million people were pushed out of work. Inflation reportedly surged to around 77%. And now, a peace deal with the US could yet provide Tehran with economic relief. The agreement could unlock major financial support and open the door for sanctions relief. But that depends on difficult negotiations over Iran's nuclear program. The war has also changed Iran's political landscape. The old divide between reformists and hardliners has become less clear. A conservative figure, Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, helped lead talks with Washington, a move once associated mainly with reformist voices. Even the Revolutionary Guards, traditionally seen as hardliners, supported the agreement. But the biggest question remains: will Iran use this moment of unity to reform from within? Critics argue the Islamic Republic's political structure is unlikely to change. They say without opening up to the outside world and addressing public grievances, the economic crisis will continue. Analysts warn that if living conditions do not improve, wartime unity could quickly disappear, bringing back the old confrontation between the state and society. The challenge for Tehran now is no longer just surviving foreign pressure. It's whether the regime can turn a moment of national solidarity into lasting peace with its own people. We have Major General Ashwani Sivach, defense and geopolitical expert, now joining us on the broadcast. Major General Ashwani Sivach, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us. Tell us, it's a million-dollar question, isn't it? What is going to happen to Iran from here on? A lot will depend upon what the regime chooses to do post signing that peace deal with the US.
Very correct. You see, there's no denying the fact before the war started, there were a lot of protests which were going in Iran. The reason is simple that there is a unemployment, inflation very high, then you see a misgovernance and also human right violation which was done by the present government. It's a government which does not give any democratic rights to its citizen. There is no denying the fact the way their economic crisis has increased over a period of time. The real has fallen down almost 200% in last about 1 month before the protest. And the reason is simple that there are economic sanctions which have been imposed by America. So their oil cannot be sold other than China. So overall, the way situation is fanning out, it looks there can be internal protest and collapse in Iran. But unfortunately, when the war began, the nationalism took over. And all people who were protesting against the government, they stood with the government. And that's where the thing changed, which was not factored in by the US and Israel. They thought this protest can become a mass movement. It didn't happen. But having said that, now the situation is that the war is almost over. Now the peace talks are going on. MOU have been signed. Uh, Peace talks can bring again back to the track that there will be some sort of economic activity. But will the Iran government change its function, its style? I don't think so, and that is the biggest problem. You see, remember that there some money is going to be released by the US and other countries, especially their assets which are frozen, almost about $24 billion, which will make some impact on that. The economic sanctions over a period of time may be removed. But what happened is that there are a number of other problems as far as the structure of Iran is concerned. The Iran government keeps tight leash on their population until and unless they do not bring the democratic norms. I don't think much is going to change. And this is a question: will the people who now stood with the government against a common enemy will again start protesting against the government in time to come? This has to be seen. But today it looks like that in case the Iran government get lot of relief in terms of their frozen assets and also more investment coming in Iran, the chances are the standard of living may increase in Iran. But until and unless the present government change its system, the style of functioning, give more rights to the human beings, nothing much will be changing. This is a mute question. Is Iran ready for a change or not?
Right, Major General Ashwini Sivach, all eyes are on Iran right now, and what could have many would have thought was impossible, because you have cinema, art, all of which talking about the repression that the people of Iran were going through under this regime, and we here in India too. The day the supreme leader was killed on day one of the U.S.-Israel strikes, there was lots of questions about will this liberate the people of Iran? Will it be finally all the injustices done to those people, especially all the protesters and the bloodshed that was witnessed. Finally, the regime will be taken to task. But now, it is going to be a matter of whether the regime itself chooses to reform itself, because there will be nobody else taking the regime to task.
Absolutely. See, everyone thought, especially the US and Israel, thought if they kill Ayatollah Al Khamenei and the top leadership, whether it's a military or a political, the regime in Iran will collapse and people will come into the road and they will take over. That hasn't happened. And that has surprised both US and Israel. It means they underestimated the strength of Iran. Also, the Mossad and CIA could not give the correct intelligence. There is no denying the fact that IRGC in Iran is too powerful. It controls everything. Army does not control much. So, is IRGC will loosen its hold on the on the government of Iran? That's a very important thing. And remember that the leadership of Iran plays a major role. Earlier it was Ayatollah Al Khamenei, now Mustafa Khomeini. Is Iran ready to change from within? Do they like to give more democratic rights to citizens? Do they want to bring democracy in some or the other way? That's a very important thing. Militarily, no denying the fact that today Iran is very strong with missile, rocket, and drones, and they also have aspirations of becoming a nuclear country. But democratically, and you consider the human right violation done, hijab is been superimposed on the woman, the people are not having a freedom of speech. That is there. Will this government give it after their economic sanctions are removed and they get some sort of relief in their assets release? The time will only tell, but it doesn't look like that because the IRGC controls everything and they feel that in case they pass all amenities to the people, or they loosen their grip, they can be a protest. So they will keep it tight leash until the protests again take place, and protest in such a manner that the government cannot survive. There is a possibility of that, but let's see how situations pan out. But to me, it does not look like that IRGC or Mustafa Khamenei giving too much rope to the people or bringing the democratic system of functioning Iran. I think that is where the problem will occur. Otherwise, there are chances of protest again starting and people coming on the road.
Major General Ashwini Sivaj, I just want you to help us understand, what is the way forward, as far as, India is concerned, how do you view the situation? How do you think India should be prepared?
India has to be very careful. Remember that 90% of our oil we import, and out of this 90% oil, almost 40 to 50% of our oil, and also almost 45 of LNG and LPG was coming from Middle East. And now since it was blocked by Iran, the Strait of Hormuz was blocked. It was almost about, say, about 1.5 to 2 months, nothing much was coming out. Now the question comes is in twofold. One is, will the Strait of Hormuz open again, or this will be always in control of Iran? So one is, as far oil is concerned, we have already diversified by increasing from 24 entity to 41. Oil, I don't think there is a much problem. Venezuela is there, US is there, the Western Africa is there. Russia oil is not coming because drones are hitting off Ukraine. So we have to depend on that. But once the Iran sanctions are removed and Iran can sell their oil, I think Iran is a very good choice as far as India is concerned. Remember, before the US came out of JCPO in 2018, we were taking almost 28% of our requirement from Iran. Iran oil is very good for our refinery. It is very close, and they were inbuilt, basically insurance. So Iran oil can be taken, but uncertainty of Strait of Hormuz will lurk. The LPG and LNG, we have to find more other sources. Now, another thing lesson which we have learned is that in time to come, you have to have more storage capability. We had only cushion of almost about 60 days. Countries like China and all, they had almost about 6 months. So there must be a cushion of 6 months within the country. That is the lesson which we have learned.
Right.
The second thing which we have to bother is the Chabar port must remain operational. We must have good relation with Iran, because that gives you connectivity to Central Asian state and connect it with North-South transport corridor. Our relationship, as far as Iran is concerned, should again come back on track. Iran is important to us, so is
Right.
Israel. We have to balance it out both.